Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Today we'll be discussing Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 4, text 20. Tyaktva karma phala sangam nityatrupto nirashrayah karmani abhipravruttopi naiva kinchit karoti saha. So Krishna says here, in the previous verses we saw how Krishna talked about akarma, means how to get freed from reactions to activities. And in the previous verse Krishna said, it's not that we should refrain from acting, but rather in all our activities, samarambhaha, sarve samarambhaha, we should endeavor for all activities, but it should be devoid of kama sankalpa. It should be devoid of our sense gratificatory motivation. It should be for Krishna. So now in this verse Krishna says, yes, okay, I will act for the pleasure of Krishna, but then there will be result. I'll produce the result from that activity. It may be raising funds for Krishna. It may be earning salary for Krishna. It may be bringing so many people for a festival. Or it may be anything. Constructing for Krishna. So these are all called our phala of our karma. Even that also we should not be attached. That's what Krishna says. Tyaktva karma phala sangam nityatrupto nirashrayah. One should give up attachment to the karma phala that we produce. Tyaktva, giving up. We should be nityatruptaha, be satisfied with whatever is our condition, whatever is the result. Nirashrayaha. Nirashraya means we don't take shelter of anyone else except Krishna. We depend only on Krishna. So, Nirashraya basically means one who has no ashraya in this material world. His ashraya is spiritual world, Krishna. So, Nityatrupto Nirashrayaha. So, for a person who is engaged, who is following these principles, Karmani abhipravrittopi, even though he is acting, Karmani abhipravruttaha means, pravruttaha means he is acting properly. He is not avoiding any activity or work. Karmani api, even though naiva kinchit karoti saha, it is as if he is not working. Na kinchit karoti. Kinchit means little bit. It's as if he is not even doing anything. Na kinchit karoti saha. Who is that person who follows these things? One who is not attached to the karma phala, one who is ever satisfied, one who has no shelter in this world, or whose shelter is Krishna. So, what it means is that Krishna is not saying that we should not work and not produce result. We should work and produce result, but the motivation for our work or action is love of Krishna, not the result of that particular action. Even in devotional service, a pure devotee is not attracted towards the result of an activity. There are two different things. Krishna never says in Bhagavad Gita, don't work or just work in a very dispassionate way, whether the result comes or not, you don't care. No, you have to work properly. You have to work properly to produce the result for Krishna. You have to take goals, you have to plan. But the result that you obtain, you should not think it is for my enjoyment. You're producing the result for Krishna. It is for Krishna's enjoyment. Then why am I working to produce the result? You are working as a service to Krishna. You are motivated by your advancement in Krishna consciousness, your love for Krishna, not for the result that you produce. The devotee works to achieve a particular result, whether it be fundraising or bringing people to temple or achieving a particular goal, because that satisfies Krishna, not that particular goal. Oh, I'm bringing so many people so that they can start to worship me. Or I'm bringing so many Lakshmi to temple so that the temple authorities will give me some post. Or I'll be noted as the great collector. So this is called motivated by the result. I should show off my, even though it's a devotional achievement. Oh, I should show off. We are motivated by the result. But we should produce the result, but because that satisfies Krishna, not because that should be used for my personal gratification. So the devotee spends all energy and efforts to achieve a particular result. Everything is planned. We don't say, oh, everything is, if Krishna wants, it will happen. Yes, Krishna wants, anything can happen. But what is your service to Krishna? You have a duty towards Krishna. And all these services are given to us not because Krishna wants something from it. It is a means of our engagement in Krishna consciousness. We have to always have engagement in Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, we'll be engaged in Maya consciousness. So, whatever activities we are doing for Krishna, it's not that the result will be, oh, Krishna depends on the result. No, Krishna is unlimited. Krishna only wants you to engage properly in Krishna consciousness, to improve your Krishna consciousness. And for that, we have these various services. So the motivation is to achieve love of Krishna. Not that we're attracted to achieving that result. Srila Prabhupada, he said many times, he has no attraction for any particular result that comes out of for himself. He was very attached for Krishna, not for himself. For himself, Prabhupada says in the purport, he is not even attached to his personal maintenance. For everything is left to Krishna. See? What to speak of the result of the activity, he is not even attached to his personal maintenance. Everything is left to Krishna. Nor is he anxious to secure things, not to protect things already in his possession. He does his duty to his best ability and leaves everything to Krishna. So personally, he is never anxious. Oh, if Krishna wants, he will provide me. If Krishna does not want, I'll fast. Krishna is taking care of so many people. Why not me? Maybe it is good for me if I fast. Whatever is happening, maybe it is good for me. Krishna is making me do this. Krishna is not giving me this. Krishna is making me lose this. Because Krishna is constantly working on us. So there was a student. He came home one time and he told his father, Dad, I'm not going to go to school. And the father said, why? And I don't like this teacher. She's always giving me timeouts and punishments, even though I'm not doing anything wrong. And then the dad said, see, already I changed your school once because you didn't like. And now this is the best school. I'm working hard to earn money to give you the best education. And You don't like this also? What is this? No, 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 I don't like this. So the father, he took the child outside his house, where they like a favorite spot. There is a famous statue that they consecrated outside. It's a beautiful statue made of marble. So they even sometimes visitors, they come and take selfies on that marble, in front of that marble statue. So the father took the son to there, and he showed him the statue. See, this is one of our favorite spots. This is one of our favorite things. You see, next to the statue, there is a big stone lying on the ground. See, nobody cares about this stone, isn't it? Nobody comes there and takes photographs. But everybody likes this statue. Why? And son said, yes, because it looks good. It's a finished product. It looks great. Stone is just a stone. Nothing great about it. And so the father told him, see, for this statue, before it became the statue, it was also like this stone, a big piece of stone. But it became subject to that chiseling, to that craft. It submitted itself to that, the person who was making it the statue, the beautiful statue. It had to endure, how many times you have to keep hitting the chisel, and it has to, it'll chop off the additional portions of the stone, large portions, before it becomes this beautiful statue. It has to endure so much of pain. Why? Because it awaits that end product, and then it becomes glorious. So like that in life, we have to undergo pain sometimes, in fact many times, if we want to improve ourselves. If we always remain in comfort zone, if we always want happiness, that can never happen in this life. Even in devotional service, sometimes people have this notion, oh, just because I took to Krishna consciousness, Krishna should provide everything for me happily. There should not be any want. I should be happy, healthy, and everything should be pleasant and peaceful. And the moment something goes wrong, people become so upset. I've done everything for Krishna. See what Krishna is doing to me, for my family. That is not surrender. Surrender means Shraddha Shabde Vishwas ko hai. That is strong faith. Sudrudha Nischay, Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Krita hoy. When we engage in devotional service to Krishna, whatever happens, Krishna is my master. He will take care of me. Whatever is happening is for my good. In fact, I was supposed to suffer even more. But because of Krishna's mercy, He has minimized this. Tattenu kampam susamikshamano bhunjana evatma kritam vipakam hridvagvapurbhir vidadhan namaste jivetayo muktipade sadaya bhak. So Lord Brahma says in Srimad Bhagavatam, the right mentality of a devotee is that one undergoes all troubles considering them to be the reaction of one's own past misdeeds, while he earnestly waits for the causeless mercy of Krishna. Susamikshamano. He considers these troubles are atmakritam vipakam. He has to vipakam. Pakam means it's cooked, isn't it? Whatever you cook, you have to eat. Whatever you did bad in the previous lives or in this life, you have to suffer for that. But Krishna, out of kindness, He reduces that. That's a fact. So, one should have that confidence. Krishna is doing this for a particular purpose, to make me better, to make me understand, to make me learn in devotional service. See, usually if we have to secure a project under some professor, people work so hard to get internship. Now we see our, the students, they are trying to get internship. It's not easy to secure a PhD program under a great professor is not easy, because it changes your life. He's a recognized professor, and PhD from that professor puts you on top of your career path. But to secure that is not easy. But just see, just by accepting Krishna consciousness, Krishna becomes that professor. Who better than Krishna to work on you? And the end product of that is that you become reformed in Krishna consciousness. So the devotee is ever satisfied. Nitya truptaha. Is not even anxious to secure things, not to protect things already in his possession. He does his duty to his best ability and leaves everything to Krishna. Such an unattached person is always free from the resultant reactions of good and bad. It is as though he were not doing anything. This is the sign of akarma, or actions without fruitive reactions. So, there was another devotee in our history. He was a king. So, Rantideva. Rantideva was always Nitya Trupta, ever satisfied. And Nirashrayaha, he depended completely on the Lord's protection. And the kings are usually charitable. He was very generous king. And he would look after anybody who came to him. So one time, Rantideva fasted for 48 days. But he never complained or made any attempt to get food. And then on the 49th day, when he broke the fast, he received a sizable quantity of well-prepared food. And he was about to take his meal, and a learned Brahmana priest arrived as a guest. So he saw him as, usually we see that, oh, I hope he came sometime later, or hey, let me have my lunch. No, he saw him as Krishna's sending, because he saw Krishna everywhere in everyone's heart. So he received his guest with respect, and it's a duty to give Brahmana nice food. So he gave his share of the food. And the Brahmana ate to his satisfaction and went away. And again, he prepared to break his fast. And just about to take his first bite, a low-class laborer entered the palace. And the king, he did not differentiate. He could see Krishna dwelling in the heart of the Sudra as well, who asked him food, and he gave the portion of the food as well. And then he had gone away, and a bearded, very shabby-looking man, surrounded by a pack of dogs, arrived at the place. And he said, "O king, oh, my company of dogs and I are very hungry. Please give us something to eat." And Rantideva gave what was left in his food to the dogs and their master. So now only some drinking water remained, and there was enough for one person, only one person. And he was about to drink it, and a Chandala came, and then he asked for that. And then Rantideva, he said, "Oh, by offering water to maintain the life of this poor Chandala, I shall not be the loser. By this act of charity, I shall free myself from all hunger." thirst, fatigue. And he gave that also. He gladly gave the last drop of water. And then, miraculously, it was revealed that Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and other great demigods appeared before the king and revealed that it was they who had presented themselves as Brahmanas, as the Brahmana, the Sudra, the Chandala, and the man with the dogs. And the demigods were very pleased with Rantideva and wanted to bestow great wealth and opulence upon him. But the king had no desire to enjoy such things. He simply wanted to keep his mind focused on the lotus feet of Lord Krishna and render devotional service to him. So Rantideva knew that Krishna is the eternal master of all the demigods, and these demigods' gifts are temporary. Antavattu phalam tesham tadbhavati alpamedasam. They pass away with the passing of time. So a pure devotee like King Rantideva cared only for his eternal loving relationship with the Lord. So that was the example set by our previous great devotees. How to be always satisfied and how to always take shelter of the Lord in whatever condition. Srila Prabhupada himself, if you see, when he came to the West, when he came to US, first he went to Butler, Pennsylvania, in the house of Mr. Agarwal and his wife Sally Agarwal. But he could not do much there. He had to move to other places, and finally he ended up in New York, that famous 26 2nd Avenue, and that storefront is hired, and slowly he had a temple there, a registered society, and he was having full freedom to preach. Unlike in the Mishra Yoga studio, he was curtailed in his preaching. And then he even had a band of initiated disciples. And when a god brother had written Prabhupada asking how he would manage a temple in New York, Prabhupada said earlier he would need men from India, but that he might find an American or two who could help. That had been the last winter before the temple was opened. But now Krishna had put him in a different situation. He had received no help from his god brothers, no big donations from Indian business magnates, and no assistance from Indian government. But he was finding success in a different ways. He said those were his happy days. He struggled alone for 1 year, but then Krishna sent him men and money. So Prabhupada, even during that struggle, he was happy. And even when Krishna provided him, he was happy. His happiness was not like that of an old man's, the sunset years, as he fades into the comforts of retirement. No. His happiness was like the enthusiastic happiness like that of a youth who tries to hope the beautiful world. So Prabhupada was like an eternal youth, eternally hopeful for expansion of Krishna consciousness. He was very happy whatever Krishna provided. And he was always working hard. Sarve samarambhaha. But kama sankalpa varjitaha. He was not motivated by kama. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he traveled alone to South India, he was very happy. Even he didn't mind. He was just going along preaching Krishna consciousness, and he was happily spreading. So Prabhupada's happiness was that of a selfless servant to Krishna, to whom Krishna was sending candidates for devotional service. So like that. So there was one conversation with one disciple of Prabhupada, and she was asking, Prabhupada, what can I do for you? What is my duty? Do I have to leave home and come and stay at the temple? And Prabhupada said, no, it's not necessary. Krishna consciousness means you have to change your consciousness. It does not matter where you stay. You just have to chant and remember Krishna all the time. That is Krishna consciousness. So, you have to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and remember Krishna all the time. And then she said, what is my duty? Then Prabhupada said, so if you speak a particular language, she happened to speak Sindhi. He said, then preach to the Indian ladies, read my books, chant, and be happy. So that he stressed, you have to be happy, ever satisfied, nitya truptaha. Chant and be happy is our motto, isn't it? So ultimately, everybody wants trupti, happiness, and that can be only had by Krishna consciousness. And if we can become happy by our practice of Krishna consciousness, by our practice of chanting, by our practice of preaching, and Prabhupada considers that as his great success. Because that's what ultimately everybody wants. It's not that we have to do something great, build great empire, or do something extraordinary, but not have that satisfaction. No, first we need to have that nitya truptaha, and then take up. Once we have our foundation strong, then we can achieve. Then the spiritual master will give us extra duties, inspire us to achieve great things for his mission. I'll stop here. Anyone has any questions or comments? Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai, Srila
Hello, Hare
Prabhupada ki
Krishna
jai.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I have a question. So for King Rantideva's story, was he in specific situation because he was a king, right? He could easily feed all these four people who came in front of him and then still have food for himself.
Yeah. He was in a
Right.
particular situation where he was not able to attain more food than what he got. So that's why whatever he got was what it was. So it's not, he was not
Okay.
in the palace, he was not in a place where he could get whatever food he wanted.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Very good question. Hare Krishna. Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Prema.